Thank you. I know Janet's the scheduled speaker, but we had a news release today that needs a bit of highlighting, and I'm going to go over the technical aspects of that with you and cover the company a little bit. First off, I'd like to say we have a booth in the 300 area. We have a nice gold display out there, so when you're walking through the 300 aisle, you'll be certain to see it. There we go, the disclaimer. Okay, all of our assets are located in the Yukon. We've got Brewery Creek, which is an advanced project. It's a brownfields operated between 96 and 2002, produced 300,000 ounces and some for Viceroy. We picked it up when the resource was down to 100,000 ounces in 2009. Since that time, we've been able to take it up to over 1.5 million ounces of all categories combined, with more importantly 853,000 ounces of oxide. It was the world's first subarctic heap leach, and that's what we look to re-employ there, although we are looking at a few other things. The Three Aces project is our high-grade project in the southeast Yukon. It's an orogenic gold deposit. It's seen a great deal of success and been in the news a lot the last couple of years. I've got a 13.5 square kilometer soil anomaly, over 30 occurrences of gold in quartz veins at the surface, and we've been drilling it for a couple of years. And I'll get to the news release on it shortly. In addition, we have our own processing plant, a little over 50 ton a day gravity facility in Watson Lake. And we have a subsidiary of the Yukon Mint that actually takes some of that refined gold and turns it into coins and bars, and a cooperative effort with the First Nation. Here you can see a map of the two areas. They're both in the Yukon, but they're quite some distance apart. Brewery Creek being near Dawson in the White Gold or Klondike area. Three Aces project, here again a bit of a view of the main mountain. The 13 square kilometer soil anomaly drapes over this. You can see some of the workings in there, quite a bit of relief. And this is what I'm going to spend most of the time talking about. If you look at the small index map on the bottom of this, you'll see a blue cloud, if you will. That's the 13.5 square kilometer soil anomaly. We've been able to now ascertain that what we have is not stratigraphically controlled as earlier thought, but structurally controlled. You might see a bit of enrichment along stratigraphic horizons, but it's structure, structure, and structure. And we've been able to find that out because, as you'll see in today's news release, we've actually been able to trace the key feeder structures down 500 meters down dip. They remain open in all directions, and that's only one of a number of structures that are parallel cutting through the area that are responsible for that incredibly large soil anomaly. I encourage you once again to stop by and talk about this in some detail. I know it's the schematic diagram you're looking at has a lot of information on it, but essentially what you see are moderate to high angle structures that are all getting steeper towards the east. It looks as if they're coalescing into a single structure at depth, which would give us a nice mineable feature. But we commonly get grades up to 30 grams per ton within this structure. The pink clouds you see are basically a 0.5 gram to 1 gram mineral halo around the main structure itself. And those halos can be up to 30 or 50 meters in width, so they actually are very important in terms of us targeting this system as we move out throughout the entire area. And now that we've determined without any doubt that this is structurally controlled, we're able to move along strike with a very definite target. In fact, our targeted intercepts on these holes, which many of which were 300 and 400 meters deep, we were able to hit our structure within 3 meters of our proposed depth from planning in the office. So that shows a remarkable degree of being planar for the structures, and certainly a high degree of confidence in terms of targeting them with additional drilling. So we expect this year's drilling to be quite successful, and moving down dip and along strike on all of these. We have about 25 kilometers of strike length among the principal identified structures, so we've got quite a bit of work in front of us. But we expect to see some remarkable success coming now that we've got the model pretty well pinned down. We also are doing bulk sampling there. It helps augment the revenue, and it certainly gives us some information that we wouldn't have from drilling. We just completed in excess of 7,000 tons that we removed last year from the area you see there, the top pink area. The magenta colored one to the left was our 2016 bulk sample. We've established that we get over 85% gravity recovery, gravity only, and that's pretty amazing. We can get up close to 90%, we think, with the improvements we've made to the plant. And this year we'll probably take about 10,000 tons. We'll process all of that material through the plant, and we'll be posting the monthly reports on that once the plant gets going in earnest in March. We had it operational last year, and we closed it just for the winter. So it's not a new plant. It's established, just closed for the season. In fact, there's a picture of it just flashed by. There you go. That's our 50-ton-a-day plant. Pretty simple process. It's all gravity. The Brewery Creek project, as you can see, has indicated this is the resources I was talking about. When you take the oxide between the indicated and inferred, you end up with 853,000 ounces. It is at over a gram per ton. It's one of the few heap leach oxide deposits in a first world country that's over a gram per ton. Most of them have been exploited already. This one we're looking to move into production sometime in the near future if we can find some partners. We're spending our current time, I'll show you this video while I talk about the project, give you a little bit of feel for the terrain and the scope of the project. We've got mineralization along 3 parallel thrust faults in sediments. It's got some analogies to Carlin-type deposits in Nevada. Also got some characteristics in common with orogenic deposits, so it's a bit of a hybrid. The metallurgy is pretty good. Lots of open ground. As I say, we've had a heck of a good time enlarging the resource from 100,000 ounces up to well over 1 million. And just this last year, we renewed our exploration efforts on 6 new targets, and we're able to drill 3 of them last year and prove those up nicely as valid concepts. We'll go back and follow that up with additional drilling this year. And we see the resources here expanding over that time frame. The mine did go through reclamation. As you can see, a lot of it has been reclaimed. In fact, it won awards for that. But we've been able to, in fact, I'll point out just this slide here. Now, this is totally untested, anomalous ground, projects right into the mine, and it's never been drill tested. And that's about 7 kilometers from the nearest mine opening. So the project's still got an awful lot of green or blue sky, and even though it's a brownfields project. We are federally permitted for the original mine plan, which obviously has grown considerably, but under the SIA permits. And we'll be looking to go back through the YESA requirements to expand it fully, which is the Yukon Zone Environmental Regulations and Assessment Program. Interestingly enough, the CapEx on this, it stands to be about 100,000 ounce a year producer once it's in production, and the CapEx is considerably under 100 million, something in the order of 70 million. Economics currently are at 19% IRR on the PEA that was dated 2014. They've improved somewhat because of the change in the price of the loonie and also power costs. But we're looking at some other things that we think can enhance the economics and maybe get that IRR up to 40%, which will make it a compelling story, and I think we'll have a lot of people wanting to come on board and help us with this project. Those center around metallurgy primarily, and also mine optimization plans. It's a big area, so how you mine and how you sequence that mining makes a big difference on the economics. We're also looking at vat leaching, which will allow us to go into year-round mining. In the past, they've only mined it seasonally and leached it full year. That, of course, would change our economics dramatically as well. So in the limited amount of time, that's about all I can tell you. We will be doing some drilling on Brewery Creek. We'll be trying to optimize those economic studies, move it forward into permitting. And on the 3 ACEs, we'll be following up on today's very important news release. Now that we've got the continuity of the veins established, we'll be moving along strike, down dip on the Hearts where we did the drilling, as well on other parallel structures that are gold-bearing throughout that central core area. And any additional information, we're on aisle 300 with the gold display. Stop by and see us. Thank you.